It's alive! Ah. Welcome to the X-Carve CNC machine review build. This product's made by Inventables, who were kind enough to send me one for a review. I'm going to show you how to put it together quickly and some of the steps and tips and tricks that I learned along the way that should make your life a little bit easier if you intend to buy one of these machines. To build the X-Carve CNC machine, what I've done is I've laid out all my parts in a nice easy spot on the dining room table, which the boss thought was a good idea. And so I've got everything nice and organized so I can find everything and it shouldn't get too lost. I've just got my computer here. If you go to the Inventables webpage, they've got the complete instructions on how to build it. They've also got some tutorial videos along the way, so you can just quickly watch those. They go for about 4 minutes each for each step. I've just got a little bowl, so I get a parts list at the start of each step. Just putting my parts in there and I'll be able to work from that. So we'll get stuck into it. So I'm not going to do a full detail on everything. I'm just going to give you an overview and the build experience. For the first step, we're going to build the X carriage. On the X-Carve, this is made out of one piece of extruded aluminium, which is much easier than the Shapeoko 2, which had multiple parts. So you had to join things together with spacers and bits and pieces. So the first step is just insert the bolt. Insert a spacer, insert the smooth idler, put a nut on it. The next step, we want to install the V-wheels. Just going to put a bolt in, a washer, V-wheel, Eccentric Nut. For the Y plates, I found the easiest way to do this would be just to do them at the same time. If you do one and then forget to flip it and get the wrong orientation, so sit them down so they're facing opposite. So the next step is I'm going to build the gantry. To do the gantry, we need to use the Torx wrench and actually cut the threads in the end here. To do that, you'll need a little bit of just machine oil or WD-40, you'll be fine. You can get cutting fluid, but not many people are going to have that. The Torx wrench comes with the little toolkit. So these are the little threaded screws. So as we screw them in, they'll actually cut their thread into the maker slide. So I'll just put a little bit of machine oil on there. Take my time. I just want to get it started nice and straight. And once you get the first couple of threads cut, then it just goes in pretty well. And gives you a nice forearm workout. Found holding a little cloth over the end of the Torx wrench helps you get a bit of a grip on it and stops your hand getting really red and sore. Here's a little tip: before you do up the back holes on the maker slide, slide your X carriage over to it so it'll set the appropriate distance, so you can just screw it up. Otherwise it might be tight or loose and not work so well. That way you'll get a nice good slide. For the Y-axis, all I did was follow the instructional video on the Inventables website. It's super easy, there's nothing hard about that, just a little bit of elbow grease with more self-tapping screws, and it runs really smooth and true. Everything feels nice and good, sits flat on the table. So far nothing's got the better of me. On the X-Carve CNC, I'm just checking that there's no play in any of the axis, and to do that I can just adjust the eccentric nut. So what an eccentric nut is, it's just a normal nut and just the hole is offset to one side. So what that does is I can adjust that just by turning it a little bit, and it'll put a little bit more pressure on the maker rail and get things nice and tight. So this thing it feels quite nice, it's flowing quite easily, and there's just zero play on any of the axis when I pull it. So I think that's going to make the machine quite accurate. Now the wiring on the X-Carve CNC is a fairly simple affair. All I did was go to the Inventables website and I followed the instructional YouTube video there as well. So what you do is you just get the wires from the Nema 23 motors, and they get wired into the terminal blocks. From those terminal blocks it just goes to these stepper cables, And then for wire management, it just goes on to the drag chain. So that will keep it nice and tidy and neat, which is pretty important. So all we do is just get these wires, poke them into the terminal block. In a nice little upgrade from the Shapeoko 2, the X-Carve has all the power supply mounted in one unit. So your spindle control, your Arduino or G-Shield, it's all powered by the one unit, so it makes life nice and easy for you. So all we're going to do is we're going to mount the Arduino in here, and then on top of that the G-Shield, which will go on, which will control all our X and Y and Z motors. Don't stress too much if you don't know what an Arduino is. It's all preloaded with its own software, so you don't have to really think about anything. On the G-Shield it's labelled XYZ for your XYZ axis on the X-Carve. So it's just a matter of wiring up the corresponding cables to the G-Shield. Okay, just had my first little hiccup putting this thing together, so I put it all together and I thought I'd just test the electrics and make sure everything's moving. So I put it all together and everything was moving very well. It all came together quite nicely, except for one thing, the drive rod. The drive rod has this Delrin nut on it. So this nut you need to loosen up. So in the instructions it tells you to get a drill and sort of run it up and down a few times. So I did it probably 5 times, but 5 times wasn't enough. It was still too tight. So when I put it together, this little motor didn't have enough power in it to get this thing going. So what I've done is I've done it, I don't know, 30 times or something like that. Just run it back up and down and just make sure it's really loose so the motor can turn it now. So far that's my only little hiccup. In the name of full disclosure, Inventables have given me this machine, so it was no cost at all, which is pretty awesome. They haven't asked me to, give it a positive review or anything like that. They've just sent it to me and said, put it together, show us how you did it, and tell us what you think about it. One thing I love about getting a machine like this is it's open source. So open source means you can do anything you want with it. So when you order it, they've got like an Apple choose your own adventure style ordering system, so you can pick the bits and pieces you want. So if you don't need a wasteboard, don't get a wasteboard. If you want to do your own drag chain, do your own drag chain. If you want big motors or small motors, you can do that. You can get longer or shorter maker rails. For me, that's a fantastic way to do things because you can cut the costs on the things you don't need. You can buy a toolkit. You might not need the toolkit. Most people are probably going to have most things in this thing, probably except for the Torx wrench is probably about the only not very common item. So, you can save 25 bucks there. If you're ordering from overseas, you probably don't want to, you want to probably save some shipping and not get the wasteboard. It's just MDF, who cares? It's got some writing on it, looks nice, but just some nice MDF will be fine. You can choose from 2 different size motors, so these are the larger motors, they're Nema 23s. I probably highly recommend getting those. It just gives you a bit more power, and if you plan on upgrading your spindle, to a DeWalt router or something like that, you want that extra power, I think, and it wasn't a lot of extra money. Another thing I'd recommend getting is it comes standard with an 8-inch size spindle, but you can also get a 1/4-inch spindle as well. That's probably something you might want to upgrade. So dump your toolkit, dump your wasteboard, upgrade some other things. I do like the idea of building your own machine. For me, someone who loves to tinker with things and fiddle with things and know how they work, it's really good. I really enjoy building it. It gives me a good understanding of the machine. So, if this was to suddenly come loose and get some wobble in it, I'm going to know how to fix it. If there's any wiring issues or anything like that, or something wears, I'm probably going to know how to fix it pretty easily. The build's nice and simple. It's not too hard at all. Everything is a step. So, this axis is a step. This is a step. The wiring's a step. So if you just break it down in those little steps, it's not hard. It does take you a while, but it's not hard at all. So there's nothing challenging or, that really makes your brain think. The instructions are pretty good. If you're like me and someone who is not great at reading instructions, they have a set of build videos with it as well. So each section, probably average 4 or 5 minute video, and I reckon I built probably 90% of this based on those videos. So I didn't really read the instructions, I like the videos better. So another little thing to keep in mind when you buy something like this is you really want the ongoing support and inspiration behind a product like this. It's not like a washing machine that you buy and never go back to them. So I like Inventables for this. I've been sort of following their forums for the last few weeks as well, and I think they've got close to 700 new people in the last couple of weeks. So there's a lot of active members on this forum, and particularly the Inventables staff. You know, I've been sort of watching their videos as well. So I've seen a lot of instances where someone will post a question, you know, can I do this with the X-Carve? And Zach Kaplan, who is the founder of Inventables, rather than just saying, yes, it can do this, he's asked them to send them, you know, specifics, a diagram or a sketch or something like that, and he's gone out and put it on the machine and built it and showed them. So, you know, that's good product support, and it's a good sell on the machine as well. So I do give Inventables a good thumbs up for that, you know. And you know, it's like companies like, you know, Craig and Microjig and sort of guys like that. They create these communities around their product, which is a really good thing. So you can post your own designs on their website, and other people are posting there. So you can, particularly if you're just starting and you want some inspiration, you want to build things, all you do is you jump on, you can pick what you like that Inventables uploaded or other people have uploaded, open it up. It'll come with a plan which you can just open generally straight in Easel, which is the software to operate this thing. So it's online software, so you don't have to upload anything or do anything. You just click open in Easel, it opens up, press carve, off you go. So stuff like that is pretty cool, I think. A couple little changes that, you know, I'd sort of think about doing down the track. The wiring for the power supply, I just cut it to their recommended lengths, and it ends up, you know, that far away from the machine. So, you know, you've only got a limited amount of room to, you know, sit on here if I want to carry it. You know, I'll probably extend that at a later date. I would like to see like some sort of a little handle up here so you can wind the spindle down when there's no power, because, you know, you can do it like this, but pretty slow. And but you can also use your computer when it's hooked up to, you know, move it up and down and, you know, remotely drive it around. Okay, now for the best bit. Let's test this bad boy out. I've stuck a piece of wood onto the wasteboard here. No messing around, no alignments. I'm just going to hook straight into a project that I imported into Easel, and we'll see what happens. Fingers crossed, it will work.